Got my new helper today, Shino. Hello. So today we're going to do some 5th grade social studies, your first week packet. Hopefully tomorrow everybody will be able to get their packets and get started. So I'm just trying to catch up so I can get all the videos out to you guys. Alright, so you don't need this first page. You can color on it. You can write notes to your mom. You could write a menu for your mom. That would be probably great. Anyway, on your first page, we're going to start with comparing primary and secondary sources. We're going to start with that one. So go ahead and get your name on it. Doesn't matter if you put the date because we're probably all going to be doing it on different dates. It's this one right here. Okay. All right. So we're going to start with, we're going to read the little excerpts that they have for us. How do I know they're excerpts? Because they look like a newspaper. And, of course, it's obviously not a full newspaper, so it is an excerpt. So we're going to read about that, and then we're going to try to get into the lesson. The directions are, use Captain Charles Sigby's letter to the New York Times article to answer the question below. Okay, so if somebody is sending a letter to a newspaper, we talked about this, I think, in the ELA section for 6th grade. If somebody's sending a letter to the newspaper, then it's probably going to be argumentative or persuasive writing, right? Okay, but we don't know. So we're going to read it and we're going to see. All right, so Miss Shino, could you please read the New York Times excerpt for me?
The Maine blown up.
It's really hard to see.
Many
Persons
killed and wounded. Havana, February 15th, 9:45 o'clock this evening, a terrible explosion took place on board the United States battleship Maine in
Havana.
Havana, boy. Many persons were killed or wounded. All the boats on the Spanish cruiser Alfonso
the 12th
are
assisting.
As yet, the cause of the explosion is not apparent. The wounded soldiers of the Maine are unable to explain it. It is believed that the battleship is totally destroyed.
Okay, so we know that a boat was in a harbor. It says Havana Harbor. I'm going to assume that's Havana in Cuba. However, there could be one named Havana somewhere else, but that's what I'm going to assume. I don't know the date because I honestly cannot read the tiny writing on here, but we know it's February 15th. We know that this was informational. And then we have a letter over here to the side. I'm going to read that one because it's kind of hard to read. So I'm going to read that one and we'll see if we can dissect what we need to do. I felt the crash of the explosion. It was a roar of, I don't know, immense volume. Largely metallic in character. It was succeeded by a trembling and a lurching motion of the vessel. Then an eclipse of the electric lights and intense darkness within the cabin. I knew immediately that the Maine had been blown up and that she was sinking. Okay, so that sounds a little scary. All right, so let's go into the questions. We're going to read all the questions, and then I will let you guys answer your questions because there's only 4. So you guys can handle that. But I will read it, and we'll explain it and try to find it at least to where all you have to do is, answer it. All right, what source lists where the explosion occurred? So what is a source? A source is where we found it. Where did we find it? So I'm going to, on my paper, I'm going to put number 1. And that should give you your answer of where to find it, right? Right? Okay, so number 1, that's the source. Okay? All right, number 2. How did Captain Sigsbee know the Maine was sinking? How did he know that the Maine was sinking? And that is right here. Number 2 is right here. right here. He says it. He says something happened and he knew that the Maine was sinking. So that's right there in your answer. Very easy. Okay? Number 3, what does Captain 6B's letter tell you that the New York Times article does not? Now, this is kind of an inference that you have to figure out. We know in the New York Times article, it was all facts. This happened, this happened, this happened. In his letter, it's more of a personal experience of what happened to him. So you may want to add those elements into your answer. So what I would do is I would just do this whole thing, and that will be number 3. Okay? So that you might want to take a little more time on to answer that question, because he gives a lot more feeling into what happened and how he knows that it was sinking. Okay? Number 4, how is the tone of the newspaper article different from the tone of the letter? What is the tone? Do you know what a tone is? Like the tone of something?
Like
The mood. The mood. So let's change tone to mood. Even though tone is our academic vocabulary, I just want to make sure that you understand that the tone is the mood. How is the mood of the Maine versus the letter? So what I would maybe do is do a Venn diagram, okay? And then we're going to do the New York Times over here and the letter over here. So you want to just compare and contrast. Like, how does it feel? The New York Times, when you read it, what did you feel? And when you read the letter, what did you feel? Okay? And that should help you answer number 4. And that's it for this one. So we're going to move on. I'm going to let Sheena finish her paper real quick. That'll give you a little time to catch up. Remember, you can pause the video at any time. Every question, if you need to pause it so you can answer it, go for it. Do it. All right, we're going to go to the read a map. That's the next one. It's got the big old state of Texas on there. Okay? Good. All right. So we're going to use the map to answer the questions. If you've noticed, it's got an inset right here. This shows how Texas fits into the rest of the map. Okay, so we're just seeing a little portion of a U.S. map, and it's emphasizing Texas. Okay? All right, so our title of our map is Texas. We have quite a few cities listed on here. We've got some legends here, down here in this corner. It says state capital, and it's a star. All right, and then over here, it's got the mileage. So if you're trying to go from city to city, you can figure it out with this. And I have a little trick for that if we have any questions that deal with that. All right, so the first question is, of course, what is the capital of Texas? So you have to really kind of scan really close. You're going to have to look for the little star. So I'm going to look for my star, and I found it. I'm going to circle it and put number 1. And then you're going to, of course, put the answer on your blank. Okay? It was a little hard to find, but some of us probably already know what the capital is, so we kind of know where to look. Okay? All right. What states border Texas? What does border mean? What do you think a border means?
Like a picture frame, kind of.
Yes! Oh my God, that is really amazing. Yes, like a picture frame. So, like, if we pretend like Texas is in a picture frame, everything that's next to it, around the edges, is what the border is. Of course, we already know that the Gulf of Mexico is out here. Out here. I'm backwards, so it's a little hard to see. And then we have Mexico. Now it's asking for a state. So Mexico would be a country. So we're not gonna do that. But what you can do is you can kind of draw. Oops, I did it wrong, but that's okay. You can kind of draw around where your borders are. See how I did the blue outline, except for I messed up right there, or right there I messed up. But see how I blue outlined? And then you can look at what states are there. Just so that you know, there's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 states that you're going to put in your blanks. Okay? All right. So what cities are located in C5? Wow, what do I do for that? Well, it's fun. I love doing this. Okay, so basically what you're going to do to find your C5, you've got your A, B, C, D here, and you've got your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. So you're going to go C5. So you're going to go to that section right here, and I'm going to block it in. I'm going to block it in because that's what they're asking for. And that's going to be my number 3. Okay, and you're going to list whatever cities are in that section. Okay, so if they were asking for B4, I would go B to 4. Okay? Oops, I went too far. B4, right here. And I would block that in. Use your pencil, color it in. Get crayons. It doesn't matter. If you're taking a test or you're doing this, make it work for you so you can understand what you're doing. Okay? You don't have to keep the map clean. I mean, there's nothing that says, you know, don't litter on it. We're littering on it. It's okay. All right, so what bodies of water border Texas? We should know that, but if this were a color map, it would probably be easier for us to see because they would probably color the water blue. But we kind of know what's out here. I'm going to draw little waves on mine, and I'm going to put question number 4. Because we only have one body of water. We do have rivers on both sides, but they want a body of water for number 4, and that's right there. Okay? All right, let's go to number 5. About how many miles is it from Fort Davis to El Paso if you drive through Van Horn? Okay, so it's giving us very specific instructions. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tear off a piece of my paper. Oh my goodness, I'm not going to get in trouble for it. I'm going to cut off a piece of my paper, and I'm going to go to where the miles are, and I'm going to line up one edge of my paper, and I'm going to mark where 100 miles is and where 50 miles is on mine. Okay? So this is what I did. I don't know if you can see. I lined up the edge to the 0 over here, and then I marked 50 and 100. Okay? All right, so now I'm going to use my little tool. You could use anything, but I think the cutting off the little paper works the best. So I happen to know that Fort Davis is somewhere in West Texas. So I will give you that. And then I'm going to go, oh good, it's easy to find too. So I'm going to go from Fort Davis, and it wants us to go through Van Horn. And if I line up my paper, my little cheat thing, that was about 50 miles. Okay? So I'm going to, over to the side, I'm going to put Fort Davis to Van Horn. Because remember, they wanted us to go through Van Horn. And that equals 50 miles. So I wrote that on my paper. Okay. Now I'm going to go from Van Horn to, where do we want to go to? El Paso. So I'm going to go from Van Horn to El Paso, which is about 100 miles. And they don't need you to be exact. Obviously, with that tiny little graphic, you're not going to be able to get it exactly, but you can kind of see from Van Horn to El Paso is about 100 miles. So I'm going to write that on the bottom too. Van Horn to El Paso equals 100 miles. And then what do I got to do? I just got to add the 2. I think we can handle that. 100 plus 50. but y'all do that. Oh, I wanted to show you guys my quarantine shirt my daughter got me. So I have my quarantine shirt I'm really excited for. But she has hers. We're going to take a selfie later. Anyway. All right, so that was number 5. So that one was quite a bit of work that we had to do, but that's okay. What else do we have to do, right? Now, what direction do you travel to get there? I didn't see the compass rose. Oh, there it is. All right, right here's the compass rose. I'm circling it. Right here's the compass rose. Okay. The way I remembered it as a kid is never eat shredded wheat. But that's, however you do it. It's like, never eat shredded wheat. Of course, I'm doing it backwards because I'm facing y'all. But it would be the other way for us. It would actually be the other way. So anyway, they went from, let's see. They went this direction. And I'm just going to draw an arrow. See the arrow that I drew? And then you can kind of translate that arrow and kind of see which way did they travel on your compass rose. And it's not going to be north or, east or west. It's going to be in between. So you have to start with the north or south and then west or east. Okay?
I do never eat sour watermelons.
You never eat sour watermelons. That works too. That's pretty awesome. Of course, if you started to eat it and then you found it was sour, might be too late. All right, number 6. What river forms the border between Texas and Mexico? Some of us have traveled down there and actually seen it. So we want to know what river makes the border for Texas and Mexico. So here's Texas. Here's Mexico. I'm going to color in my river. And it's very hard to see. But it is down here. And it's number 6. Okay. Very hard to see, but it's there. Okay. And it's number 6. Okay. It's down there. All right, so we're just moving quite along here. I'm going to let Shino can work on this one after. We're going to move on to the next one. You can finish that one. But that's how we read a map. All right, now we have a different kind of map. We're going to use an elevation map right here. Okay? We're going to use an elevation map. All right, so this one has a lot of information. So we're going to go through all the information first before we start answering, because we only have 3 questions. Okay, so in the top left-hand corner, over here, we have, it looks like Alaska. All right, and it has just like a little inset of Alaska. Top right-hand corner, it's got what each level means. This is very difficult to see on our paper. The differences between like 0 and below sea level and stuff, those are really hard to see, but you can kind of get the idea. So we've got below sea level is kind of the plain looking right there. Then it goes up to a hashtag look or a slash. Okay. Then it goes up to more of a hashtag, and then a smaller grid on the top. So, yes, it is very difficult to see, but we'll do the best we can, okay? All right. On the bottom left, also, they have Hawaii. So, we have Alaska and Hawaii that are kind of taken off the map. Of course, this is the whole United States. We've got the compass rose over here, okay? And we have the mileage right here. But I don't think they're going to be asking us that because they're wanting to know about elevation. Okay, so elevation means how high something is or how low something is. All right, so it's asking number 1, which city has the higher elevation? Jacksonville, Florida, or Columbus, Ohio? Okay, so you kind of have to know your states, otherwise you're going to be hunting and pecking for a while. But I'm going to help you. I'm going to look for Jacksonville, Florida. I know Florida is over here. All right. And then Columbus, Ohio is right here. All right. So those are circled in blue. And it wants to know which one's the higher. So look at your map or look at your chart and see which one has the higher elevation. One of them is kind of plain and the other one has a little bit more of a hashtag. So that should help you out. Okay. So I'm going to circle my number 1 in blue because I use the blue. I'm going to move on to a different color for number 2. What is the elevation range of the Rocky Mountains? And the Rocky Mountains are out west in Colorado, and actually they go all the way down. The Rocky Mountains could become the Sierra Madres in Mexico, so that's pretty cool to know. I guess I never thought of it that way before, but now I know, so that's cool. Anyway, so the Rocky Mountains are all here. I'm going to circle my number 2. And I'm going to circle the Rocky Mountain area, okay? And then you guys can figure it out from there, okay? I'm going to go to another color. Here we go. In what state can you find inland location, an inland location that is lower than sea level? What is the name of the location? All right, so I underline the important words. I'm using a different color pen or pencil or crayon, whatever you got. All right, now we're looking for an inland location that's lower than sea level. So that means all of my coastal areas that are outlined by the ocean or the Gulf, or the Atlantic or the Pacific. Those are probably not my areas I'm going to look. So I have to look inland. Now, below sea level was very difficult to see. Below sea level was going to look something like these. And I think it's going to be they're going to be like empty. Because this is like just above sea level. And what I'm seeing is right in here. And I know this from my own prior knowledge, but some of us don't. So I'm going to circle that area. And you have to look, right above my circle area is where they name it. Okay? So that was a little hard. If we had a bigger map and it was colored, we'd be able to see it a lot better. And it would be easier. So there. That. Okay, all right, so we're going to move on to bodies of water. That's our next one. Bodies of water. All right. Okay, so once again, it has the same as the elevation map. It's basically like the elevation map, but now we're talking about water. It has the inset of Alaska and Hawaii in there. It's got the mileage. It's got the compass rose. But what it's doing in this, if you had it in color, it would be so much easier to see. You know, you would definitely be able to understand. But it's not in color, so that's why I'm here to help you. Okay, so name the Great Lakes. Do you happen to know where the Great Lakes are?
No.
Have you ever heard of them? No? All right, well, you're lucky you got Miss Bliss because I know where they are. I'm going to circle number 1. Oh, do you have pants on, I hope? I'm going to circle number 1, good morning. So he just woke up. It's like 10 o'clock, I think. So that's why I had Sheena helping me.
I got like what? Let's see.
Okay, let me finish this and we'll talk, okay? All right, so the Great Lakes are actually up here, and that is where my daughter's fiance, well, he's not a fiance yet, daughter's boyfriend is from. So those are your Great Lakes up there.
No, I got 12 hours of sleep.
I'm going to color them in, or I'm going to like kind of circle them so you can see better. Okay, so there's 5 of them. I knew there was 5, but I couldn't find them all. So I circled all 5. And then you just have to list them on your paper. Like I said, if this was in color, you would be able to see better. Or if it was a little bigger and a little more detailed, you could see better. But those are your Great Lakes. If you want to circle those, put those for number 1. Okay. I'm going to switch colors. Go to number 2. All right. Name the states that border the Gulf of Mexico. Okay, we are familiar with the Gulf of Mexico. It's right in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw. And of course it's not perfect. My little outline, it's not perfect. But I just drew purple where the Gulf of Mexico is. So all the states that are here are what I'm going to write in my blanks. And don't put the abbreviations. I want the full thing. For example, TX is Texas, so I'm going to write out Texas. All right. Put the full name. If you have to use your phone to look it up, go for it. Okay? You have to ask your mom. Go for it. Okay? Don't just put the abbreviations. Put the full name. Okay? All right. Let's go into number 3. I'm going to circle that. It says name 3 tributaries. First, we got to know what a tributary is. Of the Mississippi River. Do you have any idea what a tributary is?
No.
Okay, well, I'm going to break down the word like we do in Elay. I got tribute, and Aries. I got tribute, contribute. Like give something to. Okay? So I'm going to put gives to the Mississippi River. So I'm looking for rivers that give to the Mississippi River or flow into the Mississippi River. Okay? I have to know where the Mississippi River is. All right. Well, a good way is, let me go to Mississippi. All right. So I'm going to draw, or I'm going to follow the Mississippi River all the way up where it goes. I just drew and followed it all the way up. Now I'm looking for any rivers that go into it. So I see one right here. I see another one here. And I'm going to help you guys because I know it's hard to see. I see one here. I see another one here. So in the green, I circled the green. All the rivers that flow into, give to tributaries of the Mississippi River. It's a little hard to see, but I think with the help you guys can get it, right? Got it? All right. All right. Let's go to the last one on this page, which is number 4. What states does the Arkansas River flow through? So obviously Arkansas River was one of our tributaries of the Mississippi. So I'm going to color this one in orange. And then I need to know the states. So I'm going to circle my states that it's in. Okay. I circled my states that the Arkansas River is in. Okay. I don't want just the abbreviation. I want the full name. So one of them is Kansas. I'm going to put Kansas. Can you go, baby? I'll see you in a minute.
Go take Moggy.
Kansas. I just took her out. She's good. Okay. All right. So now this one, these two are just crossword puzzles. I'm going to leave those for you guys because I think you guys can do those on your own. Don't need much help. But I'm going to go ahead and read the directions. Where people live and work. I'm going to read the word bank and the clues. So that way if you're not sure what it says, you've got it. So I'm doing assignment 5. Where people live and work. Okay, relative location, metropolitan, crossroads, railroad, suburban, farm, rural, economic. All right. The location of a place, oh, I'm sorry, I'm doing across 3. The location of a place compared to one or more other places. 5, a place where crops are raised. 6, kind of area made up of a city and its suburbs. 7, a place where 2 roads or railroads intersect. Down 1, kind of area surrounding a large city. 2, a system that moves goods overland. 3, kind of area located in the country away from cities. 4, region named for the work done or product made within it. So I just did the word bank and the clues. The rest of it's up to you. All right, let's go on to, oh, that's the same one. I had 2 of them. I guess I'll have Morgan do this one then.
I'll do this one.
Okay, Morgan, you got some work to do today.
No,
Okay.
I'm tired.
Yeah, that's homeschooling for you. I love it. All right, thanks, guys. See you in a little bit. Bye.